So, 27th December 2019, Friday, 7:02 p.m. Seems fine so far. So, my only questions by standard are: what brings you to Latvia, and what are your impressions?
Okay. Are we starting now?
Yeah.
Okay. So far we've spent 1 day in Riga. And how did you like it today?
It was very nice, yeah. So we're doing a Baltics tour right now. We have been starting, we flew over from Paris to Vilnius. And from Vilnius we went to Riga. And right after that, on the tour, there's going to be Tallinn and Helsinki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Riga here now, first day, or we had one first night, and now it's the second day actually. We have done a free tour with a guide, and we have seen all the main attractions here. We've liked it, and what did we see everything today?
Yeah, we've done a free walking tour, which was amazing. Our guide was super nice, super informed. She could answer all questions. We've done only the old town, and only the old town filled half the day. So we've seen many churches, all kinds of churches, Orthodox churches, all kinds of
Protestant churches. We learned a lot about the culture. We learned that you guys like cats. Do you?
I mean, how do you mean we like cats? I guess it's pretty universal in the world.
But
sure.
not like that.
Not like that. But there's this cat building, and we were told that
there's a cat house.
What's it called? Black cat?
Black cat, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
I don't remember its story.
Yeah, it was like there was this guy who couldn't get into rich men's society, which only consisted of Germans, and you had to be German to get into it. But he couldn't fulfill that, of course, because it was Latvian, and then he just built up that huge building and put a cat on top, which was considered to be filthy at that time. And also the expression of the cat exactly in their direction was a pretty strong sign at that time.
Oh, so it's sort of like a protest.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
didn't know that. I just know the building in the old town.
Yeah,
That's about
very
it.
interesting. And from that time on, the Latvians began to sell things with cats on, and nobody really knew why.
I don't know about selling things with cats on though. Actually, at least I don't recall anything particular with cats other than the building.
Yeah, we know. We've passed some souvenir shops today.
All magnets are with
everything
cats
with cats.
and
also
for the building, or
not in Riga.
cats.
Really?
You go through the souvenir shop. Okay, as a local, you don't go to
Also
the
the
souvenir
drawings
shop,
by the street artists.
Yeah.
But you are the first ones who say that there are souvenirs with cats.
Interesting.
No.
And also, today you bought some stockings, right? Did you buy them?
No, I didn't.
She didn't buy them. But a lot of motives.
Still, I like cats.
A lot of motives were with cats and stuff. Also, there is a monument which was given from Bremen with the Bremener Musikanten. It's a German fairy tale.
Yeah.
Which was it's at St. Peter's Church, I think. Yeah. There's also a cat in the statue.
All right. So I guess.
But it doesn't have to do anything with that actually. But I just.
So your impressions are fairly good, I guess.
Yeah.
Except the cats that are just interesting or awkward.
No, it's just a side thing. It was just interesting. We found many interesting things. Also, like that parts of the city wall are actually still here to see.
Oh, you mean the old town?
Yes,
City
yes.
wall. Oh, yeah.
There are not so many cities out there that really have that. Still, right behind was this ghost girl tail, which
What?
the statue of the ghost girl tail.
Ghost Girl Tale.
No.
What's it all about? I don't know.
Once when Riga was occupied for 100 years,
Okay.
it's a tale, of course. There was a girl who wanted to get inside the city, but that was also the time of the Black Death, and that was very hard to get in and to get outside of the town, and so she had to do it at night. But somehow, I think she died. She got caught and she died, but
She was executed.
yeah, but she wanted to get into because she fell in love with a Swedish soldier.
Yeah.
And from that time on, there is a tale where she is just wandering those streets up and down and just says, "I love you, I still
In the
love
old
you."
town?
Yeah, and there is a statue with like a ghost statue of her right behind inside the walls of the fortification.
All right. So apparently you know more about the old town in one day than me. Good to you. Good for you.
Oh, we had a wonderful guide. We're very lucky.
But here's the thing. How do you know he tells the truth or she?
You can look it up into the internet, and also the statues mostly also have like something, a little description.
Oh, so you can check it on the spot.
Yeah, you can, of course.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. So tell me about Austria. You guys are from Austria. I would guess you have much more and bigger old architecture than we, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been in Vienna, right? It's just it would be difficult to compare.
That's right. How did you like Vienna?
Well, it was sort of. I like the fact that it was because I stayed in the old town. I had a conference. I don't remember, maybe the Opera House or something like that. But yeah, I like the fact that it was definitely the old town, but it seemed so modern, so spacious. Because usually old towns are quite small, compact, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that seemed just like almost like a modern city, but it was definitely the old town. So I'm not sure about the history of the old town, right? But yeah, it made a good impression when it comes to the modern and ancient mix.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the old times, the old town was inside of the fortifications, and also the Hofburg, which is the imperial palace.
I was at Hofburg.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was also made the fortification of Vienna, and yeah, definitely that was like outside of the walls, the les banlieues, you would say on French, like the small cities, the filthy city began.
You guys speak French?
Oui.
Is it it's not common, right, for Austrians to speak French? It's
It's
common
not-
for
it's-
Swiss
it's-
people, right?
It's not common, no.
Yeah. So how did you? What's the deal with that?
I've had it 6 years in school, and she had it for 6 years in school.
And you learn it in school?
Yeah, you can choose. Yeah,
No. What I mean is usually everybody has some foreign language in school, but basically nobody learns that language in school, right? It's just you know a few words, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's
And you will really learn it like you're proficient at it in school.
yes.
Damn.
Yes.
Seems like your education system is quite good.
It's not the best.
How
no.
many foreign languages do you learn here?
In school, you have mandatory English. Then you can choose between, I think, German, Russian, and French.
Do you speak Russian?
Not at all. Well, I could understand some simple conversation.
Очень хорошо.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I've never learned it.
I had a crazy school actually. In school I had English, and I learned French, and I also had Latin for years. But it's just for.
Is that like a gymnasium?
Yeah, gymnasium, yes. And I had also like 3 years of Russian.
In Austria.
Yes.
Huh. So you learned Russian as well?
Duh.
Really? And you are saying that your education system is not that good?
Just because I had a fortunate way or path doesn't mean it's working the way it should be working. If we compare it with the Nordic states system, for example.
But you both were separate in schools, and you both learned those languages?
No, she didn't learn French or Latin.
So
I did learn
she
French.
learned French.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
No.
But she did learn French. But I just said
Did you mean she didn't learn Russian?
Oh, I said okay. Yeah, that's what I meant. She didn't learn Russian and Latin.
So you
I
didn't
could
just
have learned Russian,
yeah, that's what
but
I mean.
I chose French.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So you both had French. You also had Russian and Latin, but you didn't.
Yeah, but I learned Spanish by myself. I learned Italian by myself. I also learned, I had to learn Latin to study languages because I'm a language teacher.
At university.
So I had to learn Latin.
So that was a part of your education then, right? As a teacher.
At university,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
All
after
right,
high
so-
school.
So is it safe to say that you are just some outliers
Yeah.
when it comes to learning languages in Austria?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, usually
Okay.
they speak German and then they learn English, and then maybe they can choose another second foreign language, which would be French, depending on the region, or in the south Italian, or Spanish maybe,
Yeah.
or Russian also.
Why not? I
So-
don't know, Czech, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
would
not
be
check
interesting. Why
that's
not? Yeah.
maybe
Good
on
question.
the border to
Yeah,
Czech
maybe.
Republic there is an option to take Czech. Pretty sure,
Yeah.
but I don't know for sure.
I always think that Austria would be in my top 5 best countries in the world.
Yeah.
You think so?
It would be if
But-
if it had a seashore.
What?
A seashore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you don't have the access to the sea.
that's right.
But we have many lakes, which are beautiful.
Well, I mean, Austria is probably gorgeous in many respects, but you don't have the sea.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So you guys go. Well, I guess you're not really that much into the sea, right?
We are.
Really?
Yeah.
Especially because we don't have it, so yeah.
Because I've heard of Swiss people that don't really care about it
Really?
that much.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
those who travel just to Turkey, of course, they will go to
Yeah.
the sea. But other than that, they are pretty good with their mountains and whatnot.
Okay.
I think it depends on the person.
We love actually warm weather and the sea.
Yeah, I mean there might be Austrians
Yeah.
who adore hiking in the mountains, but we're from Vienna, so Vienna is flat and there are no mountains at all. So it's different for us.
Good, there is
Yeah.
like small mountains like the Kahlenberg and
Yeah.
the Wilhelminenberg and stuff like that. But
If you could call that a mountain.
if it's a hill, it's a hill actually. Yeah, of course.
I think you definitely could call it a mountain compared to our. I think if I'm not mistaken, the highest mountain we have is sort of like 360 meters,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
316 and yeah.
something like that.
True.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely a mountain compared to that. Yeah, of course I could call it.
So I mean.
It's hard to go climbing in here, huh? Hard to go climbing in here somewhere.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, those people who like climbing, they definitely go to, I guess, the Alps.
Yeah.
That would be the closest spot, or maybe somewhere in Russia. I guess so.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. And how's life treating you in Austria nowadays?
I don't live in Austria at the moment. I love just living abroad. I've been living in Italy. Now I'm living in France, and I just would like to continue and go on.
But do you still work as a language teacher?
Yeah. I'm a teacher in France now. I teach
Oh.
German there, so I could go anywhere.
And so, how did you decide to go to France?
Because I wanted to improve my French again. that's why, and I wanted to travel through France, and I know everything about Italy and Spain, so France was the next option. Next, maybe Portugal, or I don't know where.
She loves the Roman languages.
Yeah.
And but you?
About what do you mean?
Well, I mean, you are also living abroad.
No, I'm living in Vienna at the moment, finishing my studies.
Oh yeah, right. You said you are studying media?
No, I did my bachelor degree like 3 years ago. Then I started again working, and now I started my master's degree in economics. Yeah.
Does that mean that you just learned some Austrian School of Economics theories?
Not just Austrian school.
But what is the sort of, because as far as I would imagine, if you're in Austria, your economics would be based on that type of school. If you will be in Chicago, you'll be probably more inclined to that one. Is it true, or do you just learn everything you could?
You get to know different like theories, but it's not about it's not really about different capitalistic theories or monetary theories to learn. It's also about calculating finances and also political economy and what else. Also, I had a language to choose, which is European. I picked French. And what else do we have? Managing taxes and the IFRS and international stuff. Yeah.
And how did you choose? Because it sounds to me that you chose a more boring study, right?
No,
than before.
Because I had like media production is also like business based.
Okay.
Because I wasn't into all the technical. This is not it was not like a technical education. It was more on the production, like
skills based.
No, it was more on the organization and like on the business side.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got like Bachelor of Arts in Business from that education. But it's like specialized in the media industry, and all of the things I know about media and technology, I learned by myself, right?
Oh, okay.
And I learned in the bachelor's. I learned a lot about like, okay, what is a good script and how do you organize like movie shots and how you organize your staff and how do you do your taxes, how do you do calculations and everything. Yeah.
And afterwards you'll be planning to go into that type of field?
I thought about going into producing movies or something, but then again
In
I learned
Austria?
Yeah. I learned about a lot about film industry in Europe, and it wasn't so intriguing after all. And then I thought, okay,
Well, France has a movie industry, right?
Yeah.
it is.
Germany
French
has one.
movies are.
But in the end, but in the end, I thought like, okay, I'm gonna start producing my own kind of stuff. That's what I prefer the most.
As short movies or just
I
videos?
don't really have a preferred genre or something, but at the moment I'm doing like short documentaries on sites, attractions of tourist cities.
Okay. All right. So I plugged the link in. What is the thing that intrigues you about those type of? Because it's more related to what, monuments?
Yeah, to sites actually.
So what's the deal with that?
The thing is, if you go and travel to a city, and you're standing right before an object. Let's say the St. Stephen's Church in Vienna, and there is no one there, just sitting there and waiting for you to ask questions about it, right?
Except some tour guide, right?
Yeah, sure, but if you're just passing by and you don't have like you haven't booked a tour or something, you could stand there, just put it into YouTube, surf onto the channel, and get informed in 2 minutes about the most important facts of it, and what to see, what not to see, and about some historical background information. And I didn't find this kind of content on YouTube, which delivers you in a few short minutes like the most important facts about a site. And that's where I started doing it.
So it sounds like it's almost it's nothing about you, right? As the creator.
Yes, that's because I wanted to make it more about the attraction than about me, and I'm sure that I will. It's also like one of the first projects I'm really doing, and but I'm sure I also want to do other channels which are more dedicated to me personally, or me being more like involved into a project. But a channel like this, it could be timeless, seen like that.
Unless the building collapses.
Yeah, of course. But if it's not related to me, of course you don't get to reap the fruits of it. If I would be a known person, which I'm not. Yeah. But you also don't have the net.
But you should be, right? But you should be.
I should be what?
A known person.
A celebrity or something.
Well, not necessarily something, just a known person, a YouTuber.
A known person, a YouTuber, yeah, of course. But the thing is also, if you, I mean, this is thought of very into the future. If I'm not there anymore, people will still like can see the video and just enjoy it without thinking of who is this guy on the video. I don't know. And just like I wanted so that the monument speaks for itself. That's what I wanted.
Through you.
Yeah. This is this project is about that. But I also create different projects where I'll focus on other things.
So what's your opinion?
On the videos?
Yeah. Because it sounds like really, really the effort is just monumental to make one video.
No, I think it's a great way to combine your personal interests and your profession. And if he enjoys that, why not doing that? And if you can make money with that, even better. So, yeah.
Well, I guess the potential for making money is there, right? Because the monuments are being visited by probably thousands, if not millions of people.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, at the moment, of course, I don't have like views that are shooting through the skies, but I also do it because if you can like have a memory of the things you have visited, and as I said before, it's just timeless. You put in your time once, but it can be viewed like 100,000 millions of times. I mean, as if we're lucky that YouTube and all the other platforms will exist in the future. It's just a memory.
By the way, have you made some about French?
No, I have only four videos at the moment. I started in mid-November, and I have 4 videos right now.
But you've been filming all the time. We've been to Paris before, and you've been filming, and also in Lithuania, and now here.
Yeah, and Vilnius,
so he's collecting all the time. So, yeah.
Let me guess, you filmed here the Freedom Monument?
Yeah, sure.
And what is your guess? How much time would you spend on producing editing the type of video until you can publish it?
It depends, because I still have to research on the monument.
So a rough estimate, including the time you
for the Freedom Monument.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely gonna be a short video. It's like gonna be 30 seconds or up to 1 minute. And I guess I'll be doing it. I can do it in 3 hours, something like that.
Or you could combine like the Old Town, do a video on the Old Town, because I don't know if the Freedom Monument is really worth a solitary video, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it depends on the theme, I guess. If you just do, if your project is more or less about soul objects, then it's one thing. It's if it's a mix,
it's more of that, yeah. But I also thought like maybe I can combine it with a different strategy of mixing a few of smaller objects or something like that. But it's important to collect all those pieces of photographs and videos, and do the research and then think of it like if I have enough material and if I have enough story to tell something.
Just 3 hours sounds too optimistic.
No, it's fine like that.
Then you are just a workhorse.
Probably I'm efficient, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're, I'm doing it in iMovie.
Is that like a free application on?
It's
Mac?
For Mac.
Mm-hmm.
You can work pretty efficiently with it.
Mm-hmm. How did you come to use Apple products?
I've seen it. Some people use it on the internet years ago, and after that I bought my first Mac, and I was intrigued by the simplicity you could create stuff. It was amazing to me.
So you used it, tried it, and you already felt that
you
that
get
is
hooked.
the best.
You get hooked. Yeah.
Really?
For iMovie, I don't. It's like free.
Mm-hmm.
Just download it and it works on your Mac.
Yeah.
If you ever get to try it, it's super intuitive, and it renders videos in a snap. It's easy.
It's better than Premiere?
Certainly not with all those possibilities you could do, but you could.
At least the basics are better.
Yeah, you could even do like green screen videos and stuff like that with the iMovie. So I'm not. I also thought like, okay, maybe I should be investing in some other different modern software, but the thing is, you also have to consider the learning curve. Yeah, I mean, sure, it's steep, but there's just so many buttons to click on, and I would just have to think if it's for the things that I'm doing sufficient or not.
Yeah.
And if it's an investment that is going to pay off or not, and just have to compare. Okay, I'm willing to pay money. I'm willing to invest time on learning a new software, learning different functions, blah blah blah. And if you compare those two results, okay, is it so much better or not? Like, you know.
Well, personally,
if,
yes.
Yeah, personally, is it if it's for 1% better, and now I've been investing like 50 hours or something, I'll probably not do it.
I get it. By the way, how did you guys meet?
Tinder.
And
do you use it here? The people here? Do you know Tinder?
Yeah, I definitely know
Have
it.
you used it?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Well, I don't know how to describe, because I've been there a couple of times, right? It's a little bit confusing to me, but other than that, I get the idea, right? So, and does that mean you were both in Austria at that time?
Yeah.
And now you're not both in Austria.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how's that going?
Good.
Yeah, my plan to go to France was already scheduled, so yeah. But I think it's not easy to lead a long distance relationship, but it's possible. So yeah, now we're here. We just meet all over the place.
Oh, so you like to travel together, which
Yeah.
which would be sort of the compensation for living apart?
You could say so, yeah.
Well, why not? Why not? And what about France? Do you think that it is, let's say, personally to you, like a better environment than Austria?
Definitely not. To me personally,
Mhm.
others might disagree.
Yeah.
But I've also heard from other assistants, because there's a huge community. There are hundreds and hundreds of assistants of different countries all over the world. And from what I've heard, most people agree that France is a very bureaucratic country where you have to follow certain fixed and set rules, and hierarchy is very steep.
Yeah.
So it's really not so easy to do simple things like I had a little stitch on my foot from a surgery, and even removing that, it's not like in our country where you just go to a doctor and it's removed. No, you have to follow certain rules, and this goes like going to a hairstylist.
Okay.
It took me hours and hours to find a hairstylist who would do my hair. Just I could go on for hours. I could write books about France and how difficult it is. I mean, there are beautiful parts of it, like I love the language, I love the French cheese, many things, but especially the south of France. I could see myself staying there in the south. It's very different than the north. But in general, it's not so easy to live there. In general, I would say. And it's not only my opinion.
So one thing you would like to change about France is the bureaucracy.
Yes, definitely.
And the weather.
And even French people say that.
So why do they do that if they don't like it?
To make life hard. I don't know.
Maybe you have heard about the protests at the moment in France, all over France.
Are they still going on?
Sorry?
In
Are they
Paris.
still going on?
Yes.
Or are there new ones? Because I think the last ones I remember were the yellow or green vests.
Yeah, yellow vests.
Yeah. So are there those?
Still.
And what are the protests about?
The yellow vests protests are about the pension system.
No.
Like in France, they have, I think, 42 different pension systems.
Okay.
And the general age of retirement is set at 62, but the President Macron, he wants to consolidate all of that, and he also wants to raise the age of retirement from 62 to 64. And
which is still lower than most, right?
That's right. But French people don't like that, and that's why they're doing the protests. And most of the public transport is like down.
Every Saturday there's no public transport, which makes it very difficult to travel on weekends. So the only chance that I have to get out of the city, because my city is very small, so I try to travel a lot to see more, is to go by BlaBlaCar. If you know, it's a car sharing application. Otherwise there are no trains, there are no buses, there's nothing.
It's just chaotic.
Yeah.
But is at least the public transport as easy to use as in Austria? Or do you need to file an application before you get on?
It's so expensive that I only go by car sharing.
It's
Because to me it's too
to
expensive to afford a train.
You never know if the metro
It
is...
sounds a little bit weird when an Austrian tells you that it's too expensive to live in France. Because I would imagine it would be the other way around.
No,
France
is definitely not.
I thought Austrian people are more wealthier than French people.
Oh no, you're confusing it with Switzerland.
Well, Switzerland is the top, right?
Yeah.
But I somehow think that Austria is pretty wealthy as well.
We've been to Paris last week, and we both agreed we would never be able to survive there because
I literally busted.
Never.
Like, oh god.
Never. Especially Paris, it's just impossible to live there.
You want a cappuccino? Yeah, sure. €6, please.
And in Austria?
€2.50.
€2, yeah.
Okay.
In a normal cafe, it's wow.
Okay. No, I thought there should be similar. When it
Paris
comes to
is worse than Switzerland. Really, it's worse than Switzerland.
Because of the tourists?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because you can rip them off, right?
No, it was normal Paris prices. It was not like tourist traps or something. Normal Paris prices.
For locals?
Yeah.
Come on, Austrians do earn more than French people, right?
No.
Right? I would know.
Right?
I'm
Same.
not sure. I would.
Yeah, even
up,
that. Even
I
then.
would look up the statistics for that. Just, but do not trust some average.
At least teachers earn exactly the same.
Because I thought Austria has a similar earning level than Germany, and French people say that Germany is their rich neighbor and Spain is their poor neighbor, right?
Spain is definitely the poor neighbor.
And
Spain is indisputable.
And Spain says that the French are the rich neighbor.
That's
and
true.
I guess Portugal is the poor neighbor.
Also like Spain. So yeah.
So that's what I thought. All right, so Austria is richer than France. Simple math.
No.
Depends on the region too. Like I was in Marseille in the south.
We were
everything
talking
is
just about
way
Paris.
cheaper. And Paris just a different place.
Paris is a different
planet.
It's
It's
out of this planet.
But even where I live like 2 hours from Paris. It's
the people in Paris is the finest center like of whole France. Of course, the people who can afford Paris. Paris has one of the highest how do you say apartment costs, living costs, just to live there or to buy.
The rent is incredible. You pay like 800 euros for a shared room.
But you also know why, right? Paris is just Paris as Paris. It's a city of 100 square kilometers. It's a really tiny city.
Yeah. It's like Manhattan.
Yeah.
In a way,
which means you can easily get around, right?
Yes. Vienna is like 4 times as big. But if you count in all those La Banlieue, all the small cities around Paris. It's like huge. You have like over 10 million people living there. But if you're in Paris, it's one of the most expensive cities ever.
Because of the tourists, right?
Of course, definitely. But also, I wanted to say, like, where I live in La Val-de-Loire, which is 2 hours from Paris, you will see, because he's gonna visit. It's also not cheap, really. I'm struggling. I'm living basically from tin cans, beans every day.
But why would you stay there?
I didn't know that. I didn't expect it. I thought the prices were like in Austria, but I was so
What
surprised.
about, tell them about the mandarins. How much does the mandarin...
The clementines, they cost like, which I love healthy food, but it's so hard. I came there as a almost vegan, but in France it's just impossible to be vegan. Also vegetarians, it's very hard. Everything has cheese and it's so pricey. In the clementines you said cost 5 euros.
Also, and 5 times more than here.
Yeah. It's just impossible.
Yeah, but see, I think we would have maybe 4 times less the salary, so it would even out, I guess. I think so. I think in France a normal salary would be roughly at least 2,000 euros.
Don't think so.
1.5 is the starting salary for teachers. Also in Austria, yeah.
Which would mean that the regular salary or average salary would be at least
1.5 or 2, yeah.
Yeah, and see if in Latvia you get 1,000 euros cash, you're the man.
Yeah. Wow.
Because statistically, I think they calculated last year that the average salary on hand
900.
A little less than that. So I would guess that currently they might argue that it might be around 900. Yes.
With all those statistic things we're talking about, I think because I'm a math tutor, it's really hard to speak about averages, because if you're talking about averages, you're also like evening out all of the poorest quartiles and all of the richest quartiles. I think if we're looking at statistics, it's always the best to look at medians.
Okay.
Because medians are exactly in the representing 50% of the poorest quartiles and 50% of the richest quartiles.
Okay.
So if we're talking about averages, it's very hard to compare actually.
So public state
because
position?
if sorry to interrupt you, because if a country has a lot of people that are rich, the curve would be skewed more into the rich quartiles, right? It would like push the average up.
Okay.
But if a country would have a lot of poor people, the average would be skewed down.
Yeah.
So it's always better to talk about the median with those kinds of stuff.
But how would you calculate it?
You would look it up. How would you calculate it?
Yeah.
You would have to divide all of the groups into 4 quartiles.
Segments.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you look up where exactly is the representation of the bottom 25,
Okay.
top 25, and in the middle you have the median section, and in the middle of this median section you have the median.
Or just compare different professions, like a lawyer. Because I've studied law, a lawyer in Austria could earn. It varies. Lawyers, it was like 4,000 euros, a lot, really a lot.
I hope so. Yeah. Sure. Because I think in Austria there. I don't know why, but I think Austrian people would like to argue a lot. So I would imagine you have plenty of court cases.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4,000 euro for that nuisance, why not? At least some compensation.
Sure.
But it would be better if it would be somewhere around 10,000, right?
Could be,
So,
depends.
yeah.
Depends, yeah.
But
What does a lawyer earn here at entry status?
Ah man, look,
Entry is not a lot. Also in Austria, it's very low. You have to work very hard in the beginning, and then you can rise.
depends I guess on the sector you're working in, because I would compare it mostly to the state positions, right? Because I think public office has sort of the best representation of the averages, at least for some sectors. And when it comes to, let's say, just a regular senior expert at a public institution, on hand you would receive not even, maybe with some end of the year premiums or something like that, but without that, not even 800 euros on hand. And you saw the prices in the groceries, right? Gas prices are basically very similar to most of Europe, because I think Germany has similar prices. Finland has similar prices for gas, which was weird to me. In Finland, gas prices were similar. Most groceries were not too expensive, but in a restaurant, 20 euro for a soup, yeah, why not? Right? So what?
Good to know for Finland, okay.
Because you can go here in the Lidl next door, and for 5 euros you eat like the king of France, right?
You do?
Yeah, well, pretty good. Yeah, pretty
nice.
good. I mean, most
because we have been all just to restaurants where you paid at least the double.
Well, I guess it depends also how hungry you are, right?
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, most Westerners who come here, they are very, very pleasantly surprised about Lidl prices.
In general, you have good prices here, like affordable to us.
To Westerners, because we are expensive to Ukrainians.
Yeah.
No, for real. Because 2 days ago, one dude told me that he was recently in Ukraine, and he basically ate the same type of steak that he knows in Latvia he pays 20 euros for. He ate it there for 2.
For how much?
For 2 euro. And he said, look, I'm not even I don't even earn much, but I could afford everything there. I could afford everything there.
Wow.
Yeah. See, that's the benefit of not being in the EU, I guess.
Probably. You get to keep everything.
No, because it's sort of weird that it really sometimes depends just where the border is.
Yeah,
right?
but the thing is, if you're not in the EU, you just lose the Crimea to Russia, right? Without anyone saying anything.
Look, I've met a couple of Ukrainians. They don't like Russian politics, as do most of the people in the world, as far as I'm concerned. No, other than Russians, I have not met anybody who says, yeah, the Russian government is doing God's work, right? I never met them. But when it comes to the just everyday people, yeah, I would guess that Ukrainians in a specific type of regions, they wouldn't mind joining Russia, just in general, because it's like in Latvia. In Riga, more than half are Russian, Russian speaking. Because it sort of gets tangled up in, all right, some are ethnically from Russia, some are from Ukraine, Belarus, or whatever, but all of them speak Russian, so you just put them together in one box, right? Russian speaking. So Russian speaking are a slight majority in the capital of Latvia, right? And you would ask those guys, hey, you want to join Russia? I guess no, because they have the fun of still using their language many places in Latvia, but being in the EU,
that's
having that type of democracy, right? So they like that, but in Ukraine, those people feel Russian, so they don't have the option to be in the EU.
Completely right.
So other than the EU, they have no better choices. So they think, all right, Russia seems good.
Right.
Which is a little bit strange historically, because as far as I know, Crimea was a part of Russia, but the USSR didn't really matter which territory you belong, because all of it was sort of the USSR, right? And it was just a gift from I guess Khrushchev to Ukraine. And now, I mean, 60 years later, they're arguing about it, which is strange because most of the people there feel that Russia. And you studied law. Have you ever thought about whether or not it's a breach of international law?
I rather thought about going into private law, because it would have been more useful to me.
Really?
Yeah, like work law or something like that.
Really?
But yeah.
Oh wait, by the way, wasn't there some crazy disability laws in Austria that somehow allows even simulants to get by? Am I wrong? Have you heard of it?
It's almost been 10 years ago that I studied law, so I don't remember much about that.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
So wait, so you studied law before you studied?
Yeah, for 2 years.
Why? What was happening?
Why I stopped studying law?
Yeah.
Because
why you chose that career instead of the law career?
Yeah, because I was working in different agencies, and I just saw how much you have to work as a lawyer, and that you have to stay like from 9 in the morning till 10 in the evening, and just was not my perspective of.
I was hoping you would just say it's just soulless work.
Yes.
Because that's what strikes me the most. It's just sometimes so banal, that the things you do, and you get sometimes intertwined in different relations of other people, which seem just grow up, right? Yeah. So does it your current career, does it fulfill you more?
Yeah, definitely. I love languages, so
I'll take the as a more as a better answer.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. But I like to do different things, living in different countries. I could never stick with one job and the same place and the same time and the same people. No, never. So
and also not the same career.
Maybe the same career,
really?
But to me, I really like living in different countries. Really emerging completely in the culture and learning the language and getting to know the people and that. So I really, after some time, some month, I get completely bored being at the same place, even though I love Vienna. I couldn't stay there forever. It's just I don't know what to do there, what to explore.
And what comes after France then?
I would love to go to a Portuguese-speaking country, maybe Brazil.
Is it safe?
Yeah, I've had a friend who was also teaching there, so I think so. Yeah.
She has been to India alone.
Yeah, so I think it can't be more.
But look, yeah, I guess you could call me racist, but I think most Indians are half her size.
Yeah, sure.
Right? I mean, she could just no, right, and that's about it. Nobody could touch her. No, because Europeans are bigger than most Indians.
Right.
I mean, what would be the most risky thing you could do in India? I don't know. Oh well, I guess you could get some argument with the mob, right? With a lot of people at once. Then it might get tricky. But yeah, other than that, what did you do in India? Did you wreak havoc?
I was traveling around North India, Rajasthan, and just walking around the street as a tall, blonde European woman. It was just the feeling of them glaring at you. It was not normal. It was out of the place, and no, it's really not a good idea. I cannot advise anybody to go as a woman alone to India ever.
But nothing happened, right? It's just the glares and stares.
I had a panic attack when I was entering the train, third-class train, which was booked by an agency. Which
third class means good or bad?
Very bad. So an agency had tricked me. I had paid way too much for them, and they had booked me the lowest class, which is third class. And then there were so many people on the train, and I couldn't find my phone, and I just panicked because there were so many people, and it was so filthy, and I had no place to sit, and it was. I had thought I lost my phone, and without the phone, what can I do? I cannot call anybody. I cannot find my way. I cannot do anything. So I just panicked in that train. It was too much.
And left a bad impression. So probably a million Indians.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I was also almost sexually harassed. There was many times.
What is almost?
I know
somebody tried to reach your butt, but then you just escaped.
That too, and also there was a guide, a tour guide,
yeah,
who I had paid him,
okay,
and he was guiding me around. And there was an elephant farm, and he
elephant
said,
farm.
let's have a cup of tea in that hut. And I was like, all right, how can I say no? Let's have the cup of tea in the hut.
Yeah.
And then he just closed the door, and he was just grabbing me and trying to eat me, or I don't know what, and I just ran out of the hut. But
you mean it not in a welcoming host type of grabbing you?
No, like really trying
he wants to get jiggy with
rip
you.
off the cloth and stuff,
and he was smaller than you, right?
Yes, but even
see, it's like a little child. It's like a little child starting to annoy you.
Yeah, and it can happen so fast. Like one moment you're at an elephant farm, there are many different tourists and people, and then you just one door opens, one door closes, and you just this happens fast.
So you just ran out?
I ran out of the hut, but he could have locked it. He didn't, luckily, but yeah.
Was the building really structurally sound?
It was a normal
even with a locked door, you could just
still, but it happened so many times. Things like these, many almost every single time. Everybody tried with me.
Inviting you for tea?
Yes, inviting me for tea.
Maybe that's a slang for them. That. Like, come on, tea, cup of tea.
Yeah.
Right? To get aroused by tea, maybe.
Yeah.
But they do drink a lot of tea, right?
Yes, they do. No. And they also told me stories like, yeah, you could be the next Bollywood star. I mean, it was really their craze about.
Believe it or not, but I think an Austrian white woman in India.
Yeah, I could have been. Yeah. I really believe it because they were like taking pictures. I was like every day, hundreds of. I was like, I should take money for it because they were crazy about it.
But I've heard of people actually doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, right? If you are in a sort of a white-dominated culture, every Negro is sort of almost like an exotic figure, right? Yeah. But it's the opposite around as well.
Yeah.
You go there and
they just come to you. They want to touch your skin and they look at you and they want to take you. They give you your baby. Say, hold my baby for the good luck and blah.
For the good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
they were taking wedding pictures and they wanted me on their wedding pictures with them. So it was just crazy.
I think it might be related to either religion or to the superstition that white people, or at least white women, bring luck.
Maybe there is.
They do. They do.
She does. I can say, yeah.
But you won't go there ever again?
To India, I would love to go back. I would love
see?
to.
But not alone.
Just bring your own
Probably
tea
not
this
alone.
time.
Yeah, I'll bring your own tea.
Wearing a wig, a dark hair wig, and it's fine.
But yeah, it sounds that you would actually be a superstar there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
People love you. They adore. They're gods. Like if they adore you, there are millions of. They are millions of people. I mean.
How long was this? How long ago?
That was last year.
Oh, not too long. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I guess nothing's changed there for hundreds of years,
Yeah.
right? Even with smartphones and Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting. Have you ever been to India?
No, we're close. But you know what I do relating to India? I put it in the description of the podcast. Because I literally wrote it when I asked you guys if you're students, and right in the description later on it says, well, talk about impressions of Latvia, life in Austria, and maybe even about India.
Interesting.
And also I have USA as well. And then I put in parentheses for clickbait. Because it was you are the 90th episode, or I think it was precisely on episode 60. I had an Indian dude here.
Oh.
And he said to me that there are even YouTube channels that from Americans, Europeans, that specifically just do something related to India. And he mentioned an example that somebody is reviewing Indian films, for instance, on their YouTube channel, right? And getting millions of views.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Simply because Indians are going and they understand English.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so at that point I said, "Wow, all right," because I'm not going to review any Bollywood movies. That is too much work.
Oh, Sandeep, have you ever heard from the blonde guy doing the reviews for the people?
Yeah.
Bollywood.
Exactly.
Let's Clickbait.
Exactly. Exactly.
Also, when I was posting on Instagram, like what I always do when I'm traveling.
Good that you mentioned.
I
it,
had
yeah.
so many clicks and so many comments and likes. It was like 3 times as much as usually in India.
Yeah.
And they also have the highest rate of kill fees. Do you know what that is?
A what?
Oh.
If you take a selfie and by taking the selfie you kill yourself, they have the highest rate. Because they're so fanatic about taking selfies. And
Wait a second, you mean literal like suicide?
Yeah, no, they just take a cliff
accident.
or whatever. Yes, and yeah, exactly.
So I thought you meant that the people who are filming their suicide, but
that
you
maybe
mean
as
just
well.
by accident? You mean
Yeah,
just
by
accident?
accident. Yeah.
How does somebody manage that?
For example,
Are you on a cliff?
Yeah. For
In India?
example,
I mean,
yeah.
do you mean Indian people or people in India?
People in India, yeah.
But outsiders, foreigners.
Indians, I think Indians have the highest rate, or India has the highest rate of kill fees in the world.
Wow.
Because
Kill
they
fees.
create, yeah.
Okay.
It's an actual phrase. Wow.
Yeah.
I need to check that out. But does that mean that there are plenty of Instagram photos where somebody
I had so many likes and
few
oh my
seconds
god,
later?
yeah,
Really?
yeah, it's
Oh
just
my God.
crazy.
It's creepy.
That's. Should I put it in my hashtag?
India,
Normally
Why
means
not?
kill fee.
try.
Talk about kill fees. No, I've never heard of kill fees. But it's good that you mentioned Instagram. Here's the thing. Each time I do an episode, I try to, make my process more streamlined, right? You saw here, out of nowhere, the microphone doesn't work. Yeah, weird.
Sure.
Next time, let's see. Because again, maybe it's related to some updates, which you can kind of control, right? But usually I have, I thought I had it pretty good already, that before we start, we make an Instagram post. But I forgot. It's probably due to the microphone.
Probably. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, since you mention it, and I don't want to forget it as well, again, we might as well do it now, right?
Why not? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, let me show you how I do it. This is nowhere close to a kill fee, but I'm not good at aiming, so I take the screen, make a video on Instagram, and now I get my angle a little bit like this, I guess. Okay. Yeah, and that's about it. And you guys probably have Instagram accounts, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't.
what? What blasphemy! Did you have one?
No, I still have to set up one. I need
So
to.
what's the deal with that? Because I had an excuse. I just had an old phone before, right? So you sounds like you are some moral high ground type of dude.
No, I just.
He's not so much into social media, which I find is very good because you're so hooked nowadays. You spend so much time.
Many
every
people
day,
spend a lot of time
yeah.
on.
Can you write your username?
Of course.
So you are saying many people are hooked on social media,
Yeah, yeah.
but not in Austria, right?
Of course, all over the world.
it
All over the
seems-
world.
Well, I would guess 15-year-olds, yes, but you are grown-ups.
But still, like I've had a lot of people in my class join Instagram, and it's just. I mean, it's just another form of consuming. Like
Or
in the-
entertainment.
yeah, you can call consumment also like entertainment.
Oh, both.
It's the
All
same
right,
thing.
all right. Cool.
In the past, people have been binge watching like TV, like I don't know.
See?
Oh, that's very
Nice.
cool.
That's
There you are.
cool, yeah. Very
Nice.
cool.
And today they sit in front of Instagram and just keep swiping until until their eyes bleed out.
Mhm.
And of course, it's a good way, like so that your material gets watched.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm also gonna set up a Instagram account
Mhm.
so that my content gets out there. But at the moment, for me personally, consuming things on the Instagram, it's not like really interesting.
I think you
You
want.
use YouTube, right?
Yeah, I do.
So
It's something different because
You were saying?
on YouTube, if you it's more that Instagram is more. You just there is no.
it's more mobile based.
Yeah, it's more mobile, but you don't really have a psychological cue of ending there. Like it's designed that way. It's just have an infinite scroll.
Same with Facebook.
Yeah, same.
Oh, you
this-
don't have a Facebook as well?
Of course, I
Ooh,
have.
Look at you.
It was a long time ago, but I don't really use it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But with YouTube, mostly what I watch is information on how to do things, or how to become better at things, and documentaries and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a cue of, hey, it's an ending, you're done. Like you can turn it off. But on Instagram, it's more about really
Showcasing and
yeah,
it's more vain.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure,
more of the,
let's be
more
honest,
of the vanity,
people are
more
vain.
of the
Even those who don't want to admit it.
it's okay. You don't really ever get this feeling of you always want more of it.
I don't know if that's true though, because
How do you use your Instagram?
only if I don't have anything else to do.
Right?
yeah.
Well, in the sense, not in the sense that, let's say I'm home and I just chat, but sometimes, let's say you are in I don't know, some queue waiting for something, right? All right, yeah, why not? Just scroll around and you kill the time with it pretty good. but when I'm
that's why
when I
think,
have my, let's say, options of reading books or watching even YouTube, I would say those.
That's why I think
it's because of the age. I was
for a creator.
I was used to YouTube way before Instagram was a thing.
That's why for a creator, like, Instagram is top option, and but I also think, like, if you're not cautious, it can eat up a lot of your time. Not of your time specifically, but in general.
I get what you mean. Yeah. Of course, it's the same with YouTube. Let's be honest, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure about you, right? But I have slipped and just went on a cat video binge.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It can happen.
And recently it was some pet raccoon videos. I don't know. Those algorithms, they get you sometimes.
Yeah.
Might also interest you. Cat video.
I'm telling you, they know more about you than you.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've been for 1 year. I've been a marketing manager for a startup, and I know everything about those Google ads and those algorithms and this kind of stuff.
They keep changing all the time, right?
Yeah, sure, but
they make it better.
It's the thing is, I know how to use it, like how people can find your stuff, and like Google and Facebook, it's like amazing, what it can do.
Yeah.
And sometimes even I do know how it works. Sometimes I'm still amazed, like I think, like, okay, are they sniffing out my brain, or how did they know that I...
For example, if you talk, I didn't know that if you talk about something, they catch that, and then you get the pop-ups about what you've been talking about. It's just crazy.
Ever had that? Have you ever had that?
I've heard that about some Americans. Some of them having what's it called, Google Home and Alexa at home, and some of them, I guess, by their phones. But to me, it's difficult to say. Whether or not, because it's Latvian. I'm speaking in Latvian, so how much Latvian advertising is going on for Google? Pretty not that much.
Not that money into that market.
Yeah.
If you're German, German-speaking area, about 100 million people. There's a lot of cash there to be made. Yeah. So if they analyze people's speech, it's gonna be worth a lot.
But can we test it up to the point if I would hold my phone to you and you would say some?
No, it's delayed. It's
words.
No, it will be delayed. It's very subtle.
But you, as a former marketing strategist, what would you think if you would say now, for instance, 5 keywords in German? Make me see them in, I don't know, in the delayed time. Let's say next week.
But the phone is in Latvian, isn't it? So
the settings language is French.
You speak French?
Not at all. I just switched to French since I would like to speak French.
Right.
You're learning French.
Cool.
Well, define learning, right? I'm too lazy to literally sit down and start learning, but I do a little bit of those tweaks, right? Because my old phone didn't have, it was Android 3 or something like that, right? But this one has so many options with the languages, with the apps. So I figured, why not? Let's just see how it goes.
Then we'd have to speak French, I suppose. If we
no, the thing is, it's not.
I think it catches all, right?
It's not that I always had it. I don't have it always. That's also the thing. I would.
Come on, try some buzzwords in German and also in French, for instance. So let's see, and I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
I see some ads.
Okay, Baby, Windeln. In die Hose gemacht.
MacBook Pro.
And some French?
Stinkt.
Why stinkt? What's
Fromage de chèvre.
La Tour Eiffel.
Val de la Loire.
Marseille.
Are those selling keywords? Sounds like
Tour.
No, but it would maybe indicate that you were interested in those
traveling.
Yeah.
Okay.
areas.
All right. So I'll let
But
you know.
if you would ask me about buying keywords, it would be okay. Really, like buy MacBook Pro or something like that, or.
Would you say that Apple is one of the most aggressive advertisers when it comes to these things?
It doesn't have to be
Listing?
Apple because.
But it has
you
to
could
be something.
Yeah, you could also be like an affiliate of Apple, or you could also be an affiliate of, let's say, Amazon.
Okay.
That would be linking to the product or something.
Does that come
Commissioning.
up often? Affiliates, do they come up often?
Yeah, sure.
Really?
Like if you're trying to make cash selling someone else's product, just leading to the website, and if it gets sold, you're gonna get a commission. That's an affiliate doing.
Okay.
And they're like promoting. Sure.
What do you think, but both of you, what do you think of marketing in the future?
Marketing in the future.
Yeah.
Hard to say because there's a lot of data protection going on in Europe, but in the US it's actually the opposite way around.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Even after Snowden?
Yeah, sure.
What?
They're like
Is it true? Does he tell the truth? And nothing but the truth?
The thing is, if you look at the law that has passed 2000 and was this year or last year in May, it's getting harder and harder to use a person's data. So if you surf to any website in the whole EU, you would not only have to accept those cookies and just click another confirmation that you're okay with your data being collected.
Right? We all do.
Sure.
Get me.
Yeah. Like it's being harder and it's being monitored, and you have to get your law sites like correct, and it's like a lot of stones are being put in your way to do it like efficiently or like better than the Americans. But in the US, you just, okay, let's say there's a tactic. You surf to a site, you put in an item into the cart, and then you leave without buying it. You could set up an ad. You could set up a mail campaign that actually reaches you via mail. Hey, you forgot this and that to buy. Come back.
It's mostly for all of those internet shopping sites. Even in Europe.
Not for all. It's not really. For what I know, you cannot do it without being logged in or something.
Well, if you are shopping online and you have your profile open, and then you just put something in your cart and leave it there, they might contact you again.
The thing is, you can be more aggressive on the American market, and I also think like in the Chinese market as well.
What?
Yeah, because
China. But you should be probably in China to do that, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. As a foreigner, I'm not sure. I'm not very familiar with that, but I just think that they don't really have like high data security.
It's China.
Everything like
individual lives means nothing.
Yeah, right. Like the government will usually possess all the information about one.
Can you imagine if I would just log on to my, Facebook in a day or so, and then I just see some advertisements for Chinese cheese?
Could be, yeah.
Nice. Right?
Chinese cheese. Goat cheese.
Yeah,
sure. Facebook is crazy.
And you? What about you? About the marketing thing? Do you have any opinions?
I'm not so much into marketing, to be
honest.
I
also think that the Chinese are getting a quite edge on not only the marketing thing but also on the artificial intelligence stuff, because of all the data they're gathering, and they can all process all the data they've got into big data.
Okay.
And they can build better and more efficient AI systems with that, and they can probably outsmart many systems in the future.
In China, probably. But not outside.
But like having it having the power of data backed up.
Of Chinese data. The data made in China.
Yeah, sure, but they have like 1 billion people there.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Let me be racist again here for a moment. They're not like us, right? It's just a whole different culture. The society. Well, you could argue that they have more advancements when it comes to everyday use of, I guess, technology in general. Because I've heard, I think it was even a Chinese dude who said to me that, if I'm not mistaken, that even homeless people use smartphones to get donations. Right? All right.
Sure.
Why not? But other than that, yeah.
Are you referring to like China not being like?
I think they could. I think they are good at copying, but not in inventing or progressing things.
Well, they also have some kind of Silicon Valley in Guangzhou or something. They have some kind of Silicon Valley also, like in Guangzhou, I think.
Well, they definitely have some type of hub. Right?
Yeah,
but
I would argue it's a lot of people,
but I would argue that still badass America leads the way when it comes to progressing technology. And because it seems to me you cannot deny after the Second World War who's the man, right? America is. It's just hands down, right? And even though after the Second World War communism wanted to be some type of major player, look how it went for them, right? Soviet Union collapses, North Korea is just a big concentration camp, and China is just Orwell's utopia.
Kind of.
Yeah. So I think they are probably collapse. You know what brings me to the suspicion that it won't go far in China and all those similar places. They are very strict when it comes to what would be the right word for, not unethical, I guess immoral things, because as far as I remember, I saw some type of documentary where they basically said we are sort of isolated. We have our own type of Facebook. We have our own type of Google. Everything our own, right? And then they showed this girl. She was a webcam model, right? But she only just dressed up in weird costumes, and I don't know, she didn't really do much, right? But she was literally saying, yeah, I see myself doing this for almost forever. This is my career, right? And I just thought to myself, yeah, that's because you don't have porn over there, right? Because it wouldn't be part, because literally, can you imagine? I don't know, 20-year-old Chinese girl just dressing up in different clothes, but just regular clothes. It's not like something shady or anything. Yeah, just regular clothes, and just doing weird things on the camera. Why? Because that's the best entertainment they have.
Sounds like something Japanese would do.
Well, Japan does have porn, right?
Japanese culture is so different from ours. And also the Chinese culture,
I think it became different after the Second World War as well. Because think about it, before the Second World War, Japan wasn't really a major player in the global economy, right? Then America just nukes 2 cities, brings their military over there, brings their politics over there. I think even the emperor resigned after the Second World War. So they changed the political system. And now they are the leading.
But they do still have an emperor.
but probably not that influential, I guess. Except I just somehow remember that after the Second World War, it was not an empire anymore. Japan.
Yeah.
Right. So it might be the case that they have something like Great Britain.
Yeah,
Probably,
like
just
the Queen.
for representative purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in few decades, they became the leading country in many respects. Because I guess they tried to reinvent themselves as a culture. It's just that somehow that progression
they put
led them to
a lot of emphasis on the
productivity,
on knowledge.
On
knowledge
and
productivity.
And sort of that is in one way useful to them, and the other way it led them to the suicide forest.
That's right.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so
I'm so sorry, we have been joking about this when we were going through the countryside.
Here in Latvia?
Yes.
Really?
Because all of the forests here to us look like suicide.
No, a little bit depressing.
Wait a second, but Austria does have forests, right?
Yeah, but they look different. So.
Really? What's different about Austrian forests?
You've been to
difficult
Austria,
to-
haven't you?
Well, yeah. I've been
Yeah,
to
it's
Vienna.
green and there's some light, and here it's just dark and black and I don't know, foggy.
I just thought forests look all the same.
No.
At least pine tree forests and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, Japan is a great example of productivity. And then again, everybody's on suicide watch,
There's so much social pressure over there.
which is weird.
Yeah.
Because social pressure in the
But
beginning
social
was...
pressure is everywhere, also in our
but
country.
no, really.
Japan is the
I don't-
hardest.
I don't think in America is that much social pressure is that much relevant. Because have you heard in San Francisco, for instance, they even have as far as I know, an app that shows you how much poop on the streets there is.
What?
Because there are so much homeless people.
No.
Persons, that they just poop on the streets. And so San Francisco has a specific app, so you know where
How
not to
do
go.
they know? Is that Google Maps that collects the poop or?
No,
Hey,
it's just
man, San
random
Francisco
people
is-
just passing by, sending GPS, doing a
No.
photo. It's
Probably
Who
like
would
a
do
waste.
that?
Probably like a waste type of thing. Yeah. Just everybody reporting. Yeah. So that's the most liberal of places you can imagine, right? Homeless people just pooping around, and nobody really giving a thing about it.
Yeah, in Japan you really have there's a lot of. I mean, I haven't been there, but I'm reading up on it at the moment. There are also a lot of working poors there. If you're like working there and you just couldn't afford the rent, there are a lot of internet cafes with just a small compartment of 1 or 2 square meters, and people live there.
Yeah,
even though they have a job.
Yeah,
they can't afford nothing.
Well, but here they were always minimalist, I guess, right? Because the tradition is to drink again tea, right, without any furniture, as far as I remember, right? They just sit on the ground, and drink tea.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be really practical.
All those tea drinkers.
Yeah, those kinky tea drinkers. Right. So I would guess it's normal for them to have compact spaces.
Yeah.
I would guess so.
Yeah, but still, like, it's a cage for 2 square meters to live.
For our standards. Yeah, for our standards. But then again...
But I think in every regard, it's way too hard to live as a human being in 2 square meters. You wouldn't put a chicken in a drawer to live.
Well, actually, I think they do that, sort of. Because in a caged chicken farm, I think they only have space to just basically turn around.
Yeah, that's
not even to turn around, because I've been working for an NGO, so they can't even turn around.
It's not something they would enjoy, or that
life. Nobody's talking about enjoyment.
Choose it.
Productivity, man. Productivity.
Yeah, it's just money. In Austria, there's a new law actually from 2020, so you cannot do this anymore. You cannot cage them.
The Japanese?
No, the chicken.
Was there a problem before?
Yeah. You could also like cage him, but or let him free. But if you have free chicken.
Okay.
You can put a label on your thing that says, "Oh, it's a biological product."
Yeah.
And from 2020, you wouldn't have the option of caging your chicken anymore.
Which will just make the eggs more expensive, I guess, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But you don't have anything against that.
No,
You
of
don't
course
eat
not.
much eggs.
I eat eggs. I'm a vegetarian, actually. I don't eat meat. So I think it's better for the animals.
Wait a second. You said you were vegan?
No, flexitarian. I was a vegan for a time, but it was just too hard to maintain, especially in France. So I'm a flexitarian.
What is flexitarian? I've never heard of
That
it.
means that I'm at least 90% vegetarian, and from time to time, if I don't have the option, I eat some fish. For example, I adore sushi. So if there is no vegetarian sushi, I take the normal sushi, for example. Or if there is no soja milk, I drink the normal milk, for example. But I try to be as vegan as possible. So yeah.
For you both, is it related to some type of ethics?
I have three reasons actually. First is health, because my father had a heart attack a few years ago, and I mean, he's alive, he's okay, but he was eating very unhealthily and a lot of meat and fat, and was really bad. Then I looked up on it, and it said, okay, eating so much like meat is not really healthy for your heart and for your like stomach and for all over health. And so I said, okay, I might change that. That's the first thing. The second thing was the CO2.
CO2,
Yeah, CO2, like they produce a lot of CO2 emissions. It's like more than all of the like the mass production of meat. Like there's a lot more CO2 production than if you compare it with the whole world's like traffic.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's really incredible. It makes about one quarter of the world's CO2. And the third thing is I really adore animals. I used to have 2 cats and a dog, and I really at some point I thought like, okay, why should I pet this cat, but on the other hand, like just kill a pig and eat it? Like it's.
But you don't do it. Somebody else is doing it for you.
Yeah, but it's same. He kills it for you, right? To eat it.
For your nourishment.
Yeah, sure. But if there's like other options, I preferred it at some point, and then all those things merged together, and I thought, okay, one day I saw one documentary and I was like, okay, all right, I should switch it. And now I'm.
Remember the documentary?
Yeah, What the Hell on Netflix. It's
hasn't it been criticized?
Sure, everything's criticized, but if you do your own research, it does help to form like your own habits and to form your own meanings. It's just like it was just the first domino stone in a series of domino stones that has been fallen at that point, and I'm a vegetarian in 3 years now. For 3 years now. For 3 years now.
And you?
Yeah, I had an accident in Thailand this year, and then I watched, because I was in the hospital, I couldn't move, then I watched the same movie, What the Hell.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed, and also because of the traumatizing effect of the accident. And from then I was vegan for a while, but then I came to France, and in France it's really I know many people who have been vegan before and who come to France and they say they couldn't survive, so they became vegetarians. So
how is it that you couldn't still consume the same things as in Austria, for example?
No, like in Austria, it's so easy to find vegan restaurants, or at least you have always a vegetarian option. Also on the airplane, you have a vegetarian menu, but vegan, it's Very difficult, and I don't like eating always only salad leaves. Or, of course, you feel really healthy. When I was in Asia, I adored the Indian cuisine, or in Thailand, it's so easy to be vegan there, or at least vegetarian. But in France, it's really hard, and I just don't want to suffer. I want to enjoy eating, and in Asia, of course, that's possible, but in France, no. So yeah, I want to enjoy the life.
The decision to be vegan was made this year?
This year, yeah. Of
And
course,
what
also
was
because
before
of
that?
him.
Before that you were mostly vegetarian?
No, I loved eating meat. I adored it. I still adore from time to time my sushi. Of course I do.
Oh.
Yeah. But you get used to it. I don't miss it so much. Just sometimes, if there's no other way, then I eat some fish maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
So it sounds to me that you are mostly just a regular eater.
No, that's not true. What would you say? What would you say?
I would say that most of the people are doing it the other way around. Most of the people are eating meat for like every meal.
Yeah, true.
I don't know about that.
In our culture, yes.
Would you say that your father ate meat 3 times a day?
In
What, really?
Austria, also here, I guess.
No, I'm just trying to imagine what would do, because it's easy to imagine lunch with meat. All right. So what would be breakfast then? Sausage?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Of course, people are sometimes eating sausage, but I don't.
And I've
think
been living like that 26 years.
Mm.
I've been living like that for 26 years.
with sausage.
No, for every meal there has to be meat, because without meat it's not a meal. That's how
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
It's normal in our culture,
Really?
because I was brought up
How
in
come I've never heard?
I was
of
brought
it?
up in
You mean,
Vienna.
Is that Austrian culture or is it
Also
or
Austria
German culture?
and
But
you're
because I've never
also
heard
Serbian,
of it.
so yeah.
I'm from Serbia actually,
Oh,
and
wasn't born there?
born there but raised in Vienna.
Ooh.
And in our culture it's meat. And in Vienna it's the same. Like,
If you would have stayed in Serbia, would you be free right now? Meaning,
free?
would you be in prison?
How do you mean?
Well, Serbia is a dangerous place, right?
No,
What?
no,
Serbia.
not at all.
Wasn't it the last place where a war was in Europe? Serbia?
Yes.
Yeah. So, as far as I know, they are still conflicting between some ethnic groups,
Sure,
right?
but it's not really dangerous.
Compared to, of course, compared to the tea drinker country, sure. But, I mean, would you say that's totally safe?
What would you consider dangerous?
Well, dangerous as in embassies suggesting not to go there.
Okay, no, there is no restriction of any like Austrian embassy not to go to Serbia or something. Does the Latvian government say that you should not go to Serbia?
No, it's just my imagination that Serbia.
No.
I associate Serbia with a lot of criminals and driving Mercedes.
They also like BMW. So.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, criminals.
Because I thought that what was it? The other one? I don't remember, but I think Serbia. I guess a little bit Romania.
But there is a Serbian mafia. My
Yeah,
students
that's what I
at
mean.
school,
I mean, they
talk
go
Sure.
into Central Europe
Yeah.
and they run things. At least try to.
There's a mafia in every country, I think.
What about Switzerland?
I don't know. Just because we don't know at this
Yeah,
moment.
see, I mean, what would
Maybe they are-
what would be a Swiss mafia like?
They were giving you tea or something and luring you into their bunny houses. I don't know.
Do you go to Serbia still?
Yes, I've been going.
You have relatives there, right?
Yeah, I had relatives there. Most of them are dead by now. And
Natural causes?
Hmm?
Natural causes?
what?
Natural
Was it the
causes?
mafia?
No, yeah, natural causes, of course. Yeah.
You think that?
And by now, most of the people, most of my relatives have moved to Vienna actually, because there's better wages paid and there's a better health system.
Dude, I'm not even asking why, of course.
Yeah, but not because of that it's dangerous there. It's just financially dangerous, maybe. How are you?
Sure.
That's where you got me.
Yeah.
But it's not really like, wow, I'm gonna die today because I'm not paying like money to the mafia or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, but Austria is a good choice. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's not so far away, and Vienna is also one of the biggest like hubs of Serbian and Balkan people. There's a huge community of Serbian people, Croatian, Bosnian people. Yeah.
And Austrian people are welcoming?
In the 60s, 70s, there was lack of workers
Oh, so
in
the same
Vienna.
as in Germany, I guess,
Mhm.
right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of Turks,
Yeah,
right? So
Yeah.
Germany.
we also have a lot of
yeah.
Turks in Vienna.
So,
so
you have
they
nice
were-
kebabs, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And they were saying, okay, like, come to us, work for us, and then leave. Well, they never left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now, does Austria have the Syrians?
Yeah, it's the same situation, but now it's more hostile, I think. I don't know if it was like that in the past, but there's a lot of racism right now, like everywhere in Europe. It's very far right wing now, and many people are against the immigrants, especially in Vienna because there's so many.
It's not really
So-
racism, right? It's just xenophobia, right? Because
Isn't
they are
it
mostly white people, right? Am I-
xenophobia,
right?
racism, where do you draw the line, right?
Well, I would say if somebody is discriminating against something because of their specific looks, right, as in pigment of the skin, right? Yeah, you could say racism, but I think they just don't want any unchecked, unvetted immigrants. As far as I'm concerned, it's just that xenophobia, right? Because they could come from not necessarily Syria. They could come from whatever, Yemen or whatever. Just too much of outsiders. Nobody's knowing what the hell they are.
Actually, there was a very big leftist. You could say
Recently, yeah.
there was a leftist movement in Vienna actually.
Last year.
No, not last year. I think when all this 2015, 2016, when all these things started, when the refugees came all over from Syria and the Middle East countries, people, and really hundreds and thousands of them, were standing in Bahnhof, at the train station,
Yep.
welcoming them and giving them food and offering them shelter and everything.
Yeah,
The
but the
same as-
majority was against them.
Yeah,
The same
So-
as with Germany.
yeah. You have
Yeah.
such kind of people, and you have such kind of people, and yeah.
Do you have many immigrants here from Serbia or Iraq?
It's Latvia. Nobody wants to stay here.
Ah,
I mean,
I want to.
zero, literally zero.
well, maybe 5. I don't know. Maybe some.
Do you have
Yeah.
EU immigrants here?
EU.
Are people like actively coming from the EU to Riga to live here?
Yeah, no. Look, for instance, for your family, going to Austria was more economically motivated, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it's safe to say that most emigration is related to these concerns, right? Just economic prosperity, opportunities, political freedom, all these things.
Right.
Yeah, why would you go to here? Right?
Because it's nice here.
The climate, yes. The nature, yes. The politics, all right, fair enough. The rest of us is, dude, post-Soviet country, right? It's just life's not fair. Right?
So why do
That's
you
what I
stay?
mean.
What are your plans for the future? Do you want to stay here in Riga?
Well, I would say that I'm really comfortable here, right? So I wouldn't have that too many real concerns. But if I would be, let's say, somebody who's just coming from, I don't know, let's say a small town and just trying to get by, and somebody offers me, hey, maybe we want to go to Germany or Great Britain, working as a whatever, but earning 3 times the salary, I would consider it. Yeah. That's why we have a lot of immigrants to specifically those countries, and the Netherlands, Great Britain, Sweden. So yeah, I mean, Latvia in 20 years lost almost like 1 million people.
Isn't it that?
That's half of the population, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Because at the start of 2000, we were at 2.5 million. Now, well, I guess the best estimate is we are 1.7 million. 1.7, 1.8.
Do you know who is leaving?
The young people.
The young people?
Many young people, yes, but also just whole families.
Wow.
I mean, every
The
once in a
people
while.
with high education, or with the ones with the lowest education?
Well, if I would have to guess, the majority might have secondary school education, but also graduates from universities. I mean, you get
I would imagine like the people that do not have like the highest education would be the majority to just go off to another
They don't have the option.
country because they don't have like a lot of opportunity here, right? So if you have a good education, you still might have some very nice options here.
Yes and no. Yes, because every time you are more knowledgeable and skillful, you have opportunities more than if you had not. But no, in a sense that it's a limited space, right? It's a small country, small population, small everything, sort of, right? Which means somebody will, in the long run, somebody always will fill the gaps. So it's not like there's a shortage of, I don't know, fill in the blank, right? But for probably low-wage working positions, I guess there would be opportunities all the time. But for let's say mid-range or upper-range salary jobs, once somebody gets in that position, they will drag him out by his feet, right? It's just, if he doesn't mess up totally. I know a lot of people who just stay on one career path almost their whole life, and I'm just scared to death being one of them, right? Because I've seen, well, in I would say the last 7 years, I've been at least in seven different positions. Right?
What are you working on? What do you work?
Well,
exactly.
I mean 7 different positions with the government. Before that, I was mostly in a private company, because my father founded a company in 2000 with real estate evaluation. So I was an assistant, sort of, and yeah, so that was my first official job, right? Where you pay taxes and you do lots of administrative tasks and stuff like that. But once I didn't even graduate university. I was in my 3rd and final year of university, and then I started working as a prison guard.
Prison guard?
Yeah.
No.
And then after I graduated, I went to be a financial auditor for European projects, which would basically mean that, let's say, a public institution or university or a municipality in Latvia would cooperate with foreign municipalities or universities and different organizations to, I don't know, promote something, right? To enhance something. So it was European funded, which means that they spend their own money and they ask afterwards the EU budget for up to 70% most of the time. And so yeah, I audited that because before I graduated university, my first education was from a technical school as an accountant, right? So I did that. Afterwards, I was inspector for public procurement in Latvia. After that, I was a lawyer at the State Environmental Agency, and that was definitely the most defining job, because we were only 3 people for the whole country and all elements, right? Sky, water, ground, everything. So 3 people for all of those different fields, because every field has their own laws, their own specific things.
Okay.
So it was definitely the most defining job, which was you every day you could find out something new, learn more. So yeah, that was the most defining job. And afterwards, it was the Crimea time, 2014, and 2015 I applied to the military.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what do you do at the military?
Well, I'm a legal advisor, and then once I applied, they asked me what I wanted to do. I said, it's the military, so I guess I would just do military stuff. Oh, but you have such education, you have the qualifications, you could be a specialist. I said, I don't know what that means. Well, let's just put you first, your priorities as a specialist, then as a commanding officer, and then third, just a regular soldier. So if the first ones don't work out, you can just have those backups. So all right, whatever. so I got into the first specialists. It was I think 10 people for one position. So yeah, I got 30 people and 3 positions were open, right? So I got into one of those 3 positions.
Nice.
And yeah, ever since I've been, because the thing is, once I got into the specialist course, it means that I couldn't be a commanding officer without going back to the specific commanding officer course, which would be longer, right? So I didn't know that at that time, so I was just, all right, whatever, make me a specialist for the first and second commanding. So I got into the first, and then I just found out what the other 2 even meant.
Okay, but you would have been interested to do the commanding
course
also.
Okay. Ready to be just a commanding officer.
Interesting, yeah.
Because I just thought, all right, this might be a valuable experience. Why not? Also sorts. So, and I didn't have any clue what all of them meant. When I sent out the application, they phoned me back. And I think they basically said, well, do you have any preferences, right? And I said, I haven't been to sea. So I haven't been to sea. Sure. And they said, oh well, but we don't really have that much positions in the naval force. So well, then no, I don't have any clue. So yeah, that was the story. And after graduating the specialist course, it was basically each year a new position, just coincidentally, sort of. Because normally is you have a 5-year contract and you stay at one position for those 5 years, right? But for me, it was just I got some traction, got some notoriety, and then just commanding officers sort of requested me to join them. So yeah, I was just bouncing around.
Nice.
And I mean, if you have the option, you can grab it. Why not?
2016, I also wanted to go to the military. I graduated and I really didn't know what to do with the degree, because I learned, okay, I don't want to be in the Austrian film industry. And then I went to fill in some gap months. I went to the military to the border and just to guard it, because
without any preparation.
No, I've been to the military when I was 18.
Like a conscription?
Yeah, you have to if you're
in Austria.
In Austria, really? Yeah, you have to.
What?
You don't have to here.
You don't have to here.
It's just voluntary.
No.
If you're 18, when you're 18, you can choose between social service 9 months or going to the military 6 months.
Oh.
But only boys have to do it, of course. After that, I said, okay, I just also want to join military for 30 days. and it's like you have to do every 2 years 5 days training just to be into the training. I thought that this is gonna be great for studies and blah blah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that it would be every 2 years. Just it was dumb. But still, that gave me the opportunity to guard the border, and for I think 2.5 months.
Border to what?
To Hungary.
Is it a problematic border?
No, it was exactly the time where the refugees were coming, and they said they needed like people on the border.
Okay.
And but I wanted to go the path of being an officer and stuff. But then I got good like before I finished that at the border, and I wanted to go to the testings and everything. But I got a very good like job offer from the bank, because before I was in university. I worked for a bank almost 3 years, and I got a very good job offer from them, and then I said yes, and yeah, and after that I quit 1 year after that to go just to the startup.
This is more interesting, right?
Yeah, more interesting. Just like you just have to experience different stuff in life.
Yeah. Agreed. So how did we come to this topic? I don't remember.
Military.
Yeah. I just don't remember how we got to the career path.
And profession.
Because I just remember, we were talking about you being a vegetarian, you being a vegan. Anyway, it's been almost 2 hours. Do we have any final thoughts? Any final remarks we would like to share?
Yeah, I need the link to your YouTube account. Check it out.
Well, yeah, I can just I think once you stop, it takes a little bit for YouTube to sort of upload it, right? But yeah, I can get the link and send you it. Yeah. And I guess one final question would be whether or not you will be considering sometime living in Latvia.
We've been talking about that. Sure,
really?
Yeah.
I am.
For a time.
I am, because I love speaking Russian. And it's exactly what you said before. It's a Russian speaking city in the EU.
Yeah.
And I think you have a fantastic city, and I would love to experience it in the summer, and I would love to maybe sometime live here in the summer, and when it's in the winter here, I would like switch to a warmer place down in south of Europe or something. I'm really considering moving here.
Oh, by the way, you mentioned about the film industry, but Hungary does a film industry, right?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, sure.
Isn't Budapest the capital of the European movie industry?
Could be possible. I don't remember the.
Because I think they have some type of tax benefits.
Oh, every country does have.
All right, but I guess then they have the most. But because I think somebody just either wrote or made some type of documentary about it.
That's possible.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the best. I'm working at the moment on opening up my own marketing and media agency. It's gonna be online.
Because you like it, or because you just think you can make money from it?
Because I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Digital marketing.
Digital marketing and media, yeah.
Why do you like it?
Because I've always been into some kind of thing, selling, of course.
Manipulating other people.
No.
Say it.
No, selling. It's selling and influencing.
Okay.
Because yes, with 19 I've been working in a bank, and I've been really selling insurances and credits and everything. And after that I got into marketing. I made a small education on marketing, and then I made this bachelor degree on media and media production and stuff. And so marketing and media. I think digital marketing. I think we're living at the right moment at the right time.
Yeah.
So that this is gonna be my thing for the future.
Which means
I can work from everywhere where I want.
Yeah. Which means he can make you really powerful in India. Right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Just
you know all their interests. Just exploit them.
tea. That's right.
Yeah. All right. I guess we can wrap it up then. Thank you.
It's a wrap.
If you are considering sometime staying in Latvia, you just let me know.
Cool.
For
Sure.
assistance.
I'll come back.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Let me press a lot of stops now.